Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this logo, and they want to change it to Viking, and they're going to cut it out on a vinyl cutter, which I know very little bit about. But this was cut out on a plasma cutter. You can see the jagged edges. So you're taking a jagged edged picture, or trying to trace a jagged edged picture with shadowing. So I'm thinking this isn't the real company's logo. I've traced it, and I just noticed it's a little bit different when I did the mustache. Yeah, because everything in black is going to stay as a sticker, I guess. But this can be traced, but there's hundreds of pretty good Viking helmets. Now this one has like a braided beard, but I took that and cleaned it up in like 2 minutes. And there's a lot of them out there. So I don't know if this has to be the logo. And you could actually change the horns into something like this, and I might even make a second logo on how you could do that. Hopefully I could figure it out. But anyway, we're going to go with this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. And for the person I'm doing it for, I cropped out everything that was much as I could crop out. I mean, the white was quite a bit larger, and it just saves, I think it saves Corel time. I'm not going to convert it to anything. I'm just going to trace it, outline, trade, clip art. It does a terrible job, but I think it's usable. And the way I look at things, see all the shadows? You know what? Let's back up here and let's trace it again. And this time we're going to try something else. We're going to try outline low quality image just to see what it looks like. I normally use clip art. And let's go with bump up the detail. And we're going to go with that and just see what the difference is, because I've already done one, and it might even be pretty good. You know, where it's funny because some of the horns are, you know what? There's too many levels, so we're going to go back to clip art, because I'll show you in just a second. The clip art, there's only going to be like a few layers of. Even if we bump it up, there's just a few layers, and you can see the difference when I moved it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go up to Object and ungroup it, and we're going to start deleting stuff. I'm going to work on the helmet first, and if you think about, you know what, we're going to take away the yellow box for just a second. Just start deleting shapes that you know need to be there, or know not that they don't need to be there. You know, like that right there. We can clean a lot of this up later, and it all depends on what it looks like. And see, that kind of messes things up. But look, if we go here and just try to do half the face. Don't try to do the whole face. And here's just your imagination, or go back to the original. I think that looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the beard. I'm just taking you know, you want kind of, you know, like we could delete that, but who knows that that's going to make it look better. So just delete. You know, down here to the end of his mustache is kind of a trip. But don't worry about the whole thing. Just get to half of it. So now what we're going to do, and this thing should be pretty much symmetrical, we're going to Control G to group it together and hit P, put it in the center of the page. We're going to take a 2-point line, start drawing it, and then hold down the control button and then hit P. we're not really, the thing is not really in the center of the page as far as his mustache. So we're going to go with it like right there. And we are going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill it in blue, just so it'll look good. See, we got another little graphic right there that I did not delete. So go up to Object, Group, and Ungroup. There we go. Now, this way I'm just filling in half the mustache. Move it over. Well, we're going to need a bigger nudge factor than that. So let's check off this, and let's move it over 2 inches. Now, there's probably some graphic artists that are laughing right now at my the way I'm doing this, but this is the only way I know how. And see, I should have gone through and made sure the layers of the faces are not there, the white, because that's what's happening. So go back to the Smart Fill tool, fill that in, nudge it over. And see, don't worry about, and she even admitted that there's a lot of shadows. Don't really worry about them, just go back, see what we missed. And we don't have that. Whoop. Whenever you have the Smart Fill tool and you touch something. So that doesn't look that bad. It's kind of hard to imagine what it looks like. So now what we do, we're going to left click, right click in black, and we're going to clean these things up. And that way we only have to work on half the face. So we're going to take the shape tool first. And this is a mess. Let's try it. Let's just see what happens with the smoothing tool. Set on like a 1/2 inch. Well, that's still too big. Our drawing's so little, 0.1. Select on it, and let's see if we can't just get rid of some of this. And who says that doesn't look good? If you could think about, one, if this is their logo, then you're going to have to pay more attention to the real one. Now, when I'm smoothing, I'm going to mess up my line. But I realize that. So, well, you know what we can do? Well, we can't because we Smart Filled it. But I can show you how to fix that. Go back to the smoothing tool. And you got to click on the item. And just real quick, I've got mine set on just 0.1, and I've got it set on 20, which is kind of like the quickness it's going to happen. You don't want it too quick. And it'll light up, the nodes will light up when you have it selected. Now, I don't know anything about vinyl cutting and how you need to, the sharpness of or the smoothness of these. See how the node kind of lit up? So the person doing this will have to just kind of tell me, or when they're doing it, if the vinyl cutter, the laser would cut this out with no problem. Plasma cutter, there's not that many nodes. It would actually do a good job. I don't know about vinyl cutters. Because I am changing the logo. But if it's not their logo and they just want a Viking silhouette head, this is going to work. So just go through and smooth it out. And that doesn't probably look right, so let's fix that. Let's take the shape tool, and the way you can do that is delete these interior nodes, and then select both those and right click and turn them into a line. Then you can go back to the smoothing tool and just smooth that out. That little hiccup right there doesn't look right. So we could do the same thing, go back to the shape tool. At one time I was using the shape tool and the smoothing tool so much I made a hotkey that would jump between the two, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to do it this way. But see, what I'm saying is we've only done half the head. We're almost there. And now the only question I have for them, and maybe they'll get back to me, the word welcome in the original is kind of like a stick, and they want Viking. So I don't know if they want a like that or pick a new font. Now what we can do is group this together, Control G, while holding down the control button, move it to the left. Whoop, I didn't make a duplicate. Control D, and then move it to the left. Now I said I messed up the lines, and I did, but this is very easily fixed. Because it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, we can set our nudge factor on like 0.001, grab just half the head, and do this right here. And then that way to put all the lines double. Now we're going to have to smart fill them again. Whoop, went too far. And I would pay some attention on their eyes to make the helmet look better. Now, because we're cutting, we can't really just take this shape and fill it in. See, it's not an entire deal, so we might have to smart fill it. Let's try going to Object and group it. Nope. Well, that saves us a lot of time. Now we can take the smart fill tool and fill this in. Whoop. Maybe have a little leak or I missed it. When I'm talking, I forget what I'm doing. And I've got a little bit of a hiccup right there that you would need to fix. Let's back this up. Because I'm thinking of a vinyl cutter that's going to work like a, that doesn't look half bad. If we bring in the original, maybe make one eyeball. See, they don't really look like there's an eye there. It doesn't really look like there's an eye there, but you could take it before you duplicate it over and make this eye bigger. Or, this might be the eyeball and this is the eyebrow. So we could very easily fix that. Just with the shape tool, and this is what you'd want to do. Now, whenever the shape tool doesn't work, it's because you grouped it together, just ungroup it. And if this is like the eyeball, you can see I must have had it grouped another way. But almost any drawing could be manipulated. You could make that look more like an eyeball, and you could actually make, this one look, whoop, I like that. Make the other side look like an eyebrow by, bringing this down, and then put another node there and bring it up. I think that would look a lot better. Now, when you do that and you've discovered that you've changed half of it, all you have to do, and I would really look at it, like if I was going to do this, I would probably, bring this down and maybe make it a little bit wider. Okay, see, we still have two halves, so let's take it and smart fill it. Let's just, for instance, I would nudge this out of the way, but this way you can get rid of these two halves, and you could bring this down, left click, right click, and I could, you could mimic this a little bit, maybe take away a node, take away a couple of nodes, add a node, and make it look more like symmetrical. So now we're done. Let's take our 2-point line, holding down the control button, and hit P. We're not working in the center of the page anymore, so that doesn't really matter. And it's not, now that we got half the drawing, it's not going to be in the center of the page. Because we need to delete everything on half the side of that, basically his nose or his shield. And see, I've got some rough spots right there that would definitely need to be cut out. So we're going to go with this now. So I'm just going to take the virtual segment delete key and delete half. This is where you want to take away your line. We've got everything smoothed out. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, holding down the control button and just mirror it over. Now we've got a couple of missing spots, but you could, definitely change it. And this is, okay, we've got everything grouped together. So I'm going to go back. And this is where, you could either, I'm going to ungroup everything. I'm going to fix that joint right there. See, it's not even closed. So there's two things you could do. If you move this over, you're not symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be symmetrical. If you want it symmetrical, there's a way around that. Let's just do that. Let's say we want to move these two nodes together, but if we move them individually, then it's not going to be symmetrical. So what we can do is take our parallel dimension tool, and we're so little that it's not a very big joint. It just looks like a big joint when we're zoomed in. So take the shape tool, select on that one, hold down the shift, select on that one, select them both, go up to Windows, Dockers, Join Curves, and see how it joined it equally. It didn't, you didn't have to move one or the other. It joined them equally. I would do the same thing here. I would just, and instead of using the virtual segment delete key, select on a node, and then shift select the other one, join. It joined it equally. I might even have to make a video on just that for people, because I guarantee some people are going to quit watching. I think if you're not going to do this, kind of a boring. So shift select them both, join. Now it came up as a curve, but that's part of the drawing. Let's see how we look up top. So we got a little bit of hiccup, but we're good. I think these two nodes are probably closed. I think we're good. Maybe this needs to be closed. Yep. And this is where you could shift select that, and now you could actually delete these two and it's going to be joined. Let's try deleting those two. Now we got a little bit of a curvature. Let's see what this looks like in black. Let's turn it all black. I got a little leak, so back up. Hopefully it's not gonna, whenever you do that, I should have taken a rectangle around it. See, there's our leak right there. Do the same thing. Shift select the other one, select them both, and apply. Now, I'm not for sure if it's leaking or not. Has it got a leak somewhere else? So take a rectangle and put around the whole thing. That way, if it does leak, it doesn't. I'm thinking, well, it didn't leak. I think I just missed the mark. But it does leak. So we got a little leaker right there. There it is. Shift select. See, we actually got, maybe nodes are so close. There you go. I think he's not as scary looking as this guy. You know, I would change his mustache, you know, a little more, you know, make 3 individual, but it's good and clean. Once again, I know nothing about a vinyl cutter. Now, I do not know about, you know, the text, but because who knows where that text came from? It's pretty cool. It's really rustic. Maybe somebody will chime in and tell her where that text is. But I like the new one better. And the only, you know, the thing, if they're going to do the whole thing, then they need to do this. You know, take away the outline. And the outline was easy to create. I'm even going to, young lady, I'll send you this file and you can use this outline. If you want to just steal this outline, just take you a rectangle, take the Smart Fill tool, use a different color than you've got, move that out of the way, then you've got that outline, but just take another color and fill it in, and now you have that outline. Left click, right click. I'm going to delete some of the stuff on this page just to, I'm going to include that so it won't be such a good file. But anyway, I hope that helped there a little bit, and thank you for watching.